Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a technique that I learned that helps my makeup stay on all day, all night, as long as I need it to. So I want to share this with you guys because Valentine's Day is coming up. You want to be able to wear your makeup like for a long period of time. You don't want it coming off on your mask. You don't want it coming off like on clothing. You want to be able to sneak in a smooch without making a mess. So let's go ahead and get started. So the products that I'm going to use for my face today are some products that I used one day when I had an event. I needed my makeup to stay on and stay put. I had to wear a mask initially, and then when I took off my mask, I didn't want all my makeup going onto my mask. So I did this little technique with a setting spray, and today I'm going to use the Vanish setting spray and my foundation. Now I am going to use my RCMA foundation today. I actually used these two products when I went to that event and I did this type of technique. So those are the two main products that you're going to need. You're going to need a good setting spray and you're going to need your favorite foundation or whatever foundation you choose. So that day I did use a primer, and today I'm going to use a different primer than I used that day. The primer itself will help with the longevity of your foundation, but to be honest with you, it's really the technique with the setting spray and the foundation that is really going to work to help your makeup stay in place. So today I'm going to use the Hourglass Vanish primer. Now I have used this primer already once before, and I'm testing it out this week so that I can let you guys know how I really feel about the primer. But I'm just putting a little pea size and I'm just going all over my face with this primer. Now, if you have issues with pores, you want to go ahead and use a pore minimizing primer. I do have issues with pores, but I feel like this primer works as far as pore minimizing. So I'm not going to put on a primer on the center of my face, but this is a blurring type primer, and I really do feel like it does that. So far, so good with that primer, but like I said, I am testing it out, so I'll let you guys know later how I really feel about it. Today we're gonna do like a Valentine's kind of smoky eye look and then add that red lip for that pop of color. So for eye primer, I'm gonna go in with my Milk Makeup Primer. This is a great eye primer. I love this eye primer. You guys have seen me use it before. Okay, I'm gonna set that eye primer with this Wet n Wild Bare Focus powder. I actually have all three shades. I have the light to medium, and the medium to tan. I ended up getting all the shades because I really love this powder. The medium to tan powder does have a little bit more color to it and adds a little bit of color to the face, but I wanted to see how it would mix with the medium powder, the light to medium powder, just so I could see if I can get like a little bit lighter shade. I still don't mind the medium to tan powder, but I wanted to go ahead and play with it a little bit. I love the consistency of this powder, guys. It's so beautiful on the skin. Okay, so I'm taking a brush and just putting it in the Fair to Light powder, and I'm gonna set that primer. For eyeshadow today, I am using my Amor Mariposa Melt Cosmetics palette. I have used this already and it is gorgeous on the eyes, guys. These shades are simply beautiful. So I'm not gonna go in with anything too crazy. I'm basically gonna use these matte shades here and then a couple of matte shades here. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a crease color. I'm taking the shade Teodoro. It's this shade right here, and it's a really pretty like transition shade. So I'm just taking that same brush and I'm just going to run it gently on my eyes. I just put a little bit of color on there. Then I'm going to take a brush like this. I'm going to take the shade Nueva Vida. It's this one right here. And I'm just taking that little brush and I'm just kind of running it right here. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit and I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm flicking it up so that it'll kind of go like up, kind of like a cat eye. And we are going to clean it up to kind of give us that lifted eye look. But for now, I'm just blending it out and then flicking it out. I'm going to clean this brush off. I'm going to take a little bit of Charro, which is a darker brown, and I'm just going to put a little bit on my brush. I'm just going to run it right here on the top of the lash line and then like come out with that as well. It's going to have like that kind of ombre effect, kind of like an eyeliner, but really, you know, it's not really an eyeliner, but it's kind of like one. All right, so now I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and I'm just going to carve that eye out. Get that lifted eye effect there. Just gonna take this brush here. It's just kind of like a fluffy brush. I'm gonna go into this one right here called Señales, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that and just run it on top of that line so that it'll blend everything out. Same thing on this side. Want to make everything even, blend it all out. All right, so that is like it for the eyes. Like I said, it's just a really nice flared out kind of smoky look. Before I do my foundation, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows really quickly. I'm just using my Charlotte Tilbury eyebrow pencil. I'm gonna do that really quick off camera, come back, then we're gonna do the foundation and stuff. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So I did a little bit of my brows. I'm gonna do a little bit more to them once I'm done with my foundation. Let's go ahead and get into the foundation and the technique that I used that day. Okay, so basically what I did was I actually put it on my hand. I just put a pump on my hand, and literally with my RCMA, I don't need a lot of this. So I just put a pump, and I think I used it for my entire face. I don't think I used anything else, but if we need a little bit more, that's okay. We'll go in with a little bit more later. But for now, basically, I just put the pump in my hand. Then I took 2 squirts of my Ben Nye, and I just squirted it into my hand, just like that. And I cupped it because it'll spill everywhere. So I cupped my hand. I just took a back of a brush, a clean brush, and I just kind of mixed everything together. Just like that. So I'm just mixing it, and I just found it easier to do it this way only because when I put it on a plate, it just kind of ran everywhere, and for me, it was easier just to put it in the palm of my hand. My hands are clean. So I just mixed it all up, made sure that everything was mixed all the way through, and like I said, I only used 2 little sprays of that Ben Nye. The next thing I did was I just took my finger, dipped it in there, and then placed it on my face. And then I just pressed it into the skin. And then I take a little bit more from the palm of my hand and just press the rest into my face. This technique really does work. I'm telling you guys, it works so well for me. That day that I did this foundation still looks beautiful on the skin, even though it has that Ben Nye spray in it. And if you need a little bit more foundation, just go in with a little bit or however much you need. I'm just putting a little bitty dot. I just do 1 spray. Just like that. I don't go with too much when I put a little bit in there. And again, I mix it all the way through, and then I'll just take my sponge and dab it onto the back of my hand or onto my hand. Then I press it into the skin. So yeah, with a little amount, you're not gonna need a lot of your fixing spray. When you just put like a little bit of foundation, I usually just put 2. I think 2 sprays is enough. And to be honest, when I'm wiping it off, you'll see it doesn't really wanna come off on the makeup wipe. It's like stuck on there. So when you do take your makeup off, you're gonna have to really get in there with an exfoliator or use some type of exfoliating tool, because you're really gonna have to try to get that all off. All right guys, so for concealer today, I'm gonna use the Born This Way concealer. This is in the shade Golden Beige. Now you can use any concealer you want. I did try to do the same technique with the concealer and it didn't work. So I would not recommend doing it the same way as you do your foundation. So I would just do my concealer the same way that I normally do, is by putting the concealer on, blending it, and then adding a powder. The powder actually helps with, you know, keeping it in place. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. I recently purchased this concealer again because I really do like it. It gives really good coverage, very easy to blend. I'm just gonna take my sponge and press that into my under eye. Then I'm going to take my puff and my Micro Smooth powder by Sephora to set that concealer. I'm going to go in with my Gucci bronzer. This is in the shade number 3. And I haven't set my face just yet, guys. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. All right, I am gonna set my face now, and I'm using the Wet n Wild Bare Focus powder. Now this is the one that I initially purchased, the medium tan, and this one here is light to medium. So I do like the shade of the medium tan, but I want to kind of see how they both work together. They're very inexpensive powders, so it doesn't bother me if I have to mix both of them. But let me show you the shades up close. So this is the medium tan, and this is the light to medium. I feel like the light medium would be way too light for me. These powders seem very like finely milled. They go on really beautiful. So I'm gonna put that all over. And I usually like to set my face with the puff, but I feel like it'd be a little bit difficult to do it with both the powders, but I think both powders worked, and I think it gave me a really nice color. I also ended up purchasing the Fair Light one, and I like this because this would be more of like a highlight under my eyes. I'm just gonna get a brush and I'm going to just press it right here I love highlighting this area. It just kind of gives that lifted effect. And like I said, these are really finely milled, so they don't look like drying or cakey on the skin. For blush, I'm going to use the Melt Cosmetics Manarca Blush Palette. These are the shades. I've already used a couple of these shades. I will say these two shades right here, they have like a kind of like a sheen to them. So you really don't need highlighter if you use those shades. But today I'm going to be using this one. And before I go into this, guys, I forgot to mention, I'm going to use this new LA Girl blush. I did use the other two blushes in a recent video that I got from this line, but I went ahead and picked up Rosebud and I wanted to use it today. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this first, and then I'm gonna set it with one of the shades from the Manarca palette. So here's the Rosebud shade. I love these blushes, guys. They look so pretty on the skin, and they only had like 3 shades. I thought there were more shades, but I guess I was wrong. They only have like 3 shades. And I'm just gonna press it onto the skin. Oops, I got eyelash. Look how pretty these are. They're like a beautiful like matte type of blush. They're so gorgeous. So do you guys have anything planned for Valentine's Day? I don't, because my husband and I never do anything on Valentine's Day. We always do something either a few days before or a few days after, but we don't really have any plans this year. I think we're just gonna cook something nice at home. I think that's the best thing. As you can see, this is a gorgeous blush on the cheeks. We're gonna go in with this shade, which is Milagritos. It is a beautiful like light pink shade. It's like very light. I'm gonna take a brush and set this blush. I really don't think I need to set it because it's a beautiful matte shade, but I'm gonna set it anyway with a little bit of this. Isn't that pretty? Okay guys, so for lip liner, I'm gonna go with the MAC Cherry lip liner. I think it'll work perfectly with my Huda Beauty lipstick. So I'm just gonna align my lips. I don't know what it is about red lip liner, but I always have such a hard time like lining my lips. So I'm gonna go in with this beautiful red lipstick from Huda Beauty. I love her lipsticks. I got the shade El Cinco de Mayo. And look at this beautiful red shade, guys. Isn't this gorgeous? So when I saw this, I had to have it, and it took forever to get it because they were all sold out at most of my Sephoras, or most of the Sephoras around me. I'm gonna go ahead and place this on my lips. Guys, it is broken. I can feel it moving. It's disappointing because I waited forever. Even though it's broken, I'm still gonna use it because I think it's such a beautiful like shade of red. I'm gonna put my cute little heart earrings. I don't have anything red, so I wore this cute little like cherry sweater. I thought that was perfect for like a Valentine's Day look. And of course I'm gonna add these little heart earrings. Now we're gonna go ahead and set all of this makeup with our setting spray. I'm using the Ben Nye Final Seal. It is intense as far as the scent, so just know that if you do plan on purchasing this, if you are sensitive to smells, you will not like this finishing spray. But I love it, so we're gonna go ahead and set my entire face with it. Now this setting spray dries matte. So this is more like a matte setting spray, which I do love. If you like a glowy setting spray or just kind of a neutral setting spray, you can use whatever you want. I just like this one because it does dry a little bit matte, but it's not too drying. Let me go ahead and show you with a tissue. Now that it's all dry, I'm gonna show you with the tissue how this will actually not come off. Now, I did have like a tiny bit of makeup come off. I don't think there's anything out there that's 100% transfer proof, but this technique is going to be as close to that as possible. So I'm gonna show you with a white tissue. Okay, you'll see my lipstick on there, but you're not gonna see any foundation. So my lips were down here, but all up here, no foundation. That is how everything stayed on. It looked beautiful when I took the mask off. It did not transfer. And I really feel like this is gonna be a really good makeup look if you're going out for Valentine's Day, if you're gonna hug your boo and you don't wanna get anything on clothing or anything like that. This is actually going to be the makeup that you wanna go with, or the technique you wanna go with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Valentine's Day long-lasting makeup look. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when I put out a new video. Take care, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.